our next guest, who also has twins, Sara, you want to come on up? We'll try to be social distance here. Is Sara Hoyt. And Sara, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Sara is a staff member here, as we said, at Dunebrook, and is a coordinator of our public education program. And she is unbelievably talented in the fact that she can speak to children about how to empower themselves and not allow any inappropriate touch. So maybe, Sara, you can start off by saying a little bit about yourself and your family and the girls.
Okay. So yes, I'm the public education coordinator for Dunebrook. I've been here for 7.5 years. And so what my job is, I provide abuse prevention education, specifically sexual abuse prevention education to LaPorte, Porter, and Stark County. So I go into the schools and I use our body safety program, Safer Smarter Kids and Safer Smarter Teens, as well as our Stewards of Children program, to help educate children and adults on how to recognize and respond to the potential threat of sexual abuse, but also to empower them to understand that their bodies belong to them and how to set healthy boundaries.
And of course, every parent's concern for their children when they're not in sight is, are they okay? Are they okay physically, emotionally, otherwise? So Sara, to talk about this issue, which she's very, has a lot of integrity and respect when she talks about this issue, and it is age appropriate, right, Sara?
Yes.
So, you're talking to high schoolers very different than you're talking to middle schoolers or even younger. So Sara's program is designed appropriately for the schools.
Right, it grows with the kids, and our goal has always been that we go to the schools every year, starting in kindergarten and growing with them all the way up until they graduate high school.
Great. And have there not been cases that where because how many children did you say?
We were fortunate enough to serve 62 schools this year, which amounted to almost 29,000 students and about 1,200 teachers.
That's good.
So it was a great year. Unfortunately, it did get cut short because of everything that's going on. So there were some schools in March, April, and May that we didn't get to go to, but we're on track to pick up next year. We might have to change things a little bit, but we still want to be there in the schools for the students and the teachers, sending this message.
Great. And I know Sara talks about the fact that if a youngster hears this 1 year, say they're in 3rd grade, and they're a little bit too nervous to talk about it, when they hear about it again in 4th grade and 5th grade, then maybe they'll have the courage to come forward and say, something inappropriate happened to me or is happening in my home. And it hasn't been cases where they've been prosecuted, Sara, where we know because they heard you?
Yeah, we've definitely, given that the CAC is here at Dunebrook, there have definitely been children that have come through that, they've heard the presentation and maybe that helped them recognize that there's something going on and they need to talk to somebody. Consistency is such a big part of this, is that we're there every year, same message, being available to them as well. I think one of the most important statistics that I keep close to me is that 95% of child maltreatment is preventable through education, and that's what we're doing. Wow. Because I think one of the main things is this is a really hard topic, and it's hard to talk about at home, and so we want to be there to give the tools to children and adults to recognize and respond if something's going on.
Right. Thank you. And as a therapist, what I hear Sara saying too is it empowers children. It's a green light to say something inappropriate happened to me. I didn't know what to do with it. I can talk about it. Kids have so many reasons why, and maybe Sara, what are some of the reasons why kids don't talk about if something inappropriate happens?
Well, I think given that 90% of victims know their perpetrator, that can create a big barrier for why they might not tell, because maybe they know the person, they trust the person, they care about the person. Another reason I think we see is that they don't know who to talk to. So a big part of our presentations, K through 12, is helping kids recognize who trusted adults are in their life, and we talk extensively about whether that's your teacher, or your class aide, or your principal, or your school nurse, and just giving kids an idea of who outside their home are available to them, and really reinforcing that to them, because I think teachers especially are sometimes the first line of defense. Because they see them every day, they build relationships with them, they recognize when there's changes in the behavior, which could, be something's going on. So I think that's a really important part of our program, is just helping kids identify who they can talk to, because that is one of the reasons why they might not come and tell.
Right. And of course, as we all know, especially because I think in the last 5-10 years, sexual abuse, even with adults, it ruins lives. And if you can educate and prevent it from happening, that's Sarah's goal. It is life-changing, because when you have children, I know Pam talks about this in grants, that when you have children that have been any kind of physical or sexual abuse or neglect, emotional neglect, it has negative effects. They have problems in school, they have discipline problems, maybe dropping out, maybe substance abuse as an adult. There's this black shadow cloud over their head that affects everything in their life. So what Sara does is so important and so powerful. And life-changing.
Well, it is. It's just, I'm very passionate about our body safety program. I genuinely believe in its worth, and I like going to schools. I like talking to kids. I like, again, it's a tough conversation, but it's a necessary one. And our body safety program, I look at it as it works prevention in 2 ways. Hopefully preventing it from ever happening to a child, but also maybe to prevent it from continuing to happen. So.
And Sara, given our quarantine and COVID-19, Sarah's actually made a video that hopefully the schools can interject come fall, whether they're in school or not in school, that we can do the body safety somewhat virtually. And I know Sara has classes for adults. Not only the Stewards program. You want to talk a little bit about that, Sara?
Our Stewards of Children program, which is our adult prevention program, that's usually done in a face-to-face setting, but we are going to be offering that virtually. So I know a lot of you might be familiar with Zoom. That's one way that we're going to offer our Stewards program training, is through a Zoom conference. So we've got our first one coming up in a couple weeks. I got Megan to help me, so we'll see how it goes. But I'm really excited that I think that we can still get the value of that, even though we're not face to face, but through something like Zoom.
Great. Thank you, Sara. That's
Absolutely.
Great. So to switch a little bit from your work role here at Dunebrook and public ed to maybe mom role of twins. Now Tom's children are 10.5 months, and Sarah's children are 3 years.
We're going to be 3 in June.
So Sara, if you could give some, parenting tips to parents given the quarantine, what have been the challenges and what are some of the things that work maybe for you?
Well, I think, Tom, you probably pretty much just hit it on that, because it's a lot of it, is the stress of feeling like, am I doing a good enough job? And I think that, to be honest with you, that was one of the things that I struggled with was, I got to do work, but I also need to pay attention to my girls. I want to give them, everything that I can. And there were just days that I finally realized that, I'm doing a good job. They're loved, they're fed, they're cared about. I am stressed, but I know other people are stressed too. And I think it's important to just recognize that you're not alone. And to take 15 minutes and, whatever that looks like, go for a walk, just sit for a moment, that it's just absolutely critical, so that you don't get overwhelmed. And again, you're doing a good job, and you need to remind yourself that you're doing a good job.
Right. I always think of, that story that if you're in an airplane and it's having, a problem, you put the mask on yourself and then your child. And that's, I think, what both Sara and Tom are saying is you have to take care of yourself as a parent. And if that's 10, 15 minutes a day, do that, because when you're happier, you're calmer, and then you can deal with the child.
Exactly.
Or work with, or support, or help your children.
Absolutely. And I think that for, parents out there that still have nap time happening, I think for some of us working from home that we think nap time happens like we have to get everything done right there.
Right.
And you got that 2-hour window that you need to get your work done, you need to clean the house, you need to do the laundry, all the things that you couldn't do when they were awake. But I think that it's important that, when they lay down, make sure to take a second for yourself too.
Yeah.
Don't just dive right into the next thing that needs to be done, because I think that that's how you could easily get overwhelmed. I mean, it is a great time to get work and housework done, but again, just take a second, before you dive into those things, because it's easy to get overwhelmed with already a very stressful situation.
And I think that's a social stigma we have in our society, that we have to be perfect. And I don't know about some of you, but grew up that maybe you don't take so much time for yourself because that's selfish.
Yeah.
But when in fact for the whole family system, it's so important to take time for yourself. So I love that you both are saying that. Good. Anything else, Sarah, for tips for moms at home that you can?
The outdoors, we try and get out as much as possible. When it was colder, we bundled up. They wore their snowsuits a lot in March, even though there wasn't any snow. But I think that fresh air and that change of scenery is so important for everybody, the adults and the kids. And we don't live in an area where we can, walk down the street because we live in the country, so it's really busy. But, we walk in the yard and we find things to pick up. But it's that outdoors it's huge. And now that the weather's breaking, thank goodness, it makes it even more enjoyable.